Welcome back. Today I want to follow through on this course by talking about the correct follow through. Following through is probably one of the most serious problems that a lot of shooters have. It's the same problem that golfers can have, baseball pitchers can have, football kickers can have. No matter what it is, it can be a follow through issue. Following through, lack of follow through simply means that you're not continuing to do what you're supposed to do until it's all over. It means that you just did not concentrate on continuing to the very end. Now with handguns, what you want to make sure that you always are doing is that as you're squeezing and 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 squeezing, that you don't do this. That you don't relax and complete the shot by basically forgetting what you're doing. A good follow through is watching those sights, shooting, squeezing, squeezing, squeezing until it just goes off, and that's how you determine that you are actually following through, is to just keep on squeezing until the very end, and you should see no difference in the way that gun reacts. Keep the gun on target until it's out of the barrel, and give yourself a second afterwards, a full second. Count after that shot goes off. Now, one of the first ways that you can detect a lack of follow through, and sometimes it can occur by an aberration which is called a flinch, and that's a real monster. A flinch is what occurs when a person anticipates their shot, and they basically, it can even involve with a centerfire, it might involve your eyes shutting, but it's a matter of jerking the trigger to get that shot over with. And that occurs very frequently with a high-powered handgun. When a person is anticipating the recoil, it's a distasteful feeling, so they want to just close their eyes and pull that trigger and basically brace themselves for what occurs. But it can translate into a rimfire as well, because if you've been shooting a centerfire handgun and you acquired that demon, you can find yourself doing it with the rimfire pistol as well. There are ways to determine if you are picking up a lack of follow through or a flinch. The very best way is to have a coach with you, have somebody with you. It doesn't even have to be, it can be your son or your daughter, your wife or your brother, whomever. All they have to do is load the magazine or load the cylinder if it's a revolver, load it with an unknown number of rounds, unknown to you. So if you have a 10-round magazine, you can go to the line with that magazine loaded by that whoever your coach is, have it loaded by them with an unknown number of rounds. So if you think you got a 10-round magazine and suddenly it doesn't go off on the 4th round, but you see that gun dip, you know exactly what you did. That will tell you immediately, oh wow, I just flinched, or oh wow, I didn't. My sights were not looking at that target at the instant that it went off, and that's what a good follow through is. A good follow through is having exactly the same sight acquisition and target acquisition at the end of that trigger squeeze when the gun does not go off. Now, it's certainly when there's a recoil, even with a .22, it's gonna jump. The barrel's gonna jump and it's gonna move out of the way. But if you've got a good sight acquisition and everything is sight alignment and target acquisition at the instant that gun does not fire, then you know that you're following through correctly. I want you to practice on that, and that's what dry firing is all about. Dry firing is all about practicing that ever important follow through and target sight alignment, practicing watching that front sight and squeezing until the gun goes off. That's what it's all about. In my last class, I'm going to talk about target analysis. I'm going to talk about how you can examine shots on the paper, how that can tell the tale, how that can tell you what you're not doing correctly, or for that matter, it can affirm that you are doing things correctly. But we'll get into that in the last class, and I'm so happy that you're able to watch through all these episodes. These are all just as important. Every one is a building block, and none are more important or less important than the other. So thanks for watching. Tell all your friends about us. Don't forget to subscribe, and God bless.